All right. Sometimes people come on a little later and they have their sound on, so that does happen. Alrighty. Yes, so let's start. One thing I want is I just want to, as always, work deeply, but yeah, I think it's a way of dealing with ceiling leaks and stuff like that, to work deeply. So immerse yourself in your practice. Be on your pilgrimage. So you're pointing and flexing and pointing and flexing. Okay. We're going to cross the legs and shift forward. So come forward, lower your head, stretch into your back, and breathe. Come up and reverse the leg crossing. And once again, if it's easier to sit on a block, you can do that and come forward, stretch your back, and breathe. And I say stretch your back, but a lot of us, it's stretching the hip and the inner thigh as well. And then coming up, and we'll interlace fingers and press palms up overhead and just give yourself a nice extension of the back. And then from here, I have a little blanket here, so let me see. I'm going to slip my hands underneath. You want your hands always on sticky mat here. Should be the same way. I'm going to move this. We're coming to tabletop. So your hands should not be on slip surface as you come up. So you lift your pelvis, you tilt your head back, and really nice stretch. And then you lower and releasing the wrists. We're coming onto our backs. And you may want, we'll grab the blocks if we need them. So you're on your back, and then pulling knees into chest, both knees to chest, and just rocking little side, side. Okay? So what we're going to do is you have your knees, your thighs are in a vertical. You're trying to get your back down to the mat, really pressing your lumbar down, and your arms are up in the air. If I do anything wrong in this pose, like for me personally, my knee seems to come in. So I'm trying to keep my thighs on the vertical. That seems kind of hard for me as you progress in this pose. So from here, you're going to take right arm and left leg, work opposites. To make it easier, your left leg is up in the air. To make it more challenging, your left leg is hovering above the floor, and you're working really hard to keep your back down. And then back to the original place. Left arm, right leg. Remember, leg up in the air, easier. Leg down, you have to work a little harder to keep your back down. You can see how the other leg wants to compensate by coming forward towards your torso. Breathing in, exhale, and come back to center. Keeping your back, excuse me, pressing down. Now it's same. Right arm, right leg. Extend and breathe. Inhale. Exhale. And then back to center. Deep breath in. Same. Left arm, left leg. Keeping your back down. Breathing in. Exhale. And back to center. Yeah. I started out with a little bang there. And then, so there you are, you're like toning and, strengthening the abdominals, that's good. But then we also are coming into bridge, which stretches, okay? So you press up, and we're giving our bodies this information, or we're saying, okay, we want muscle spindles to be strong and long, okay? So clasping hands, tuck shoulders underneath you, lift your pelvis, keep lifting. Now, some might find this is the best option, right? Some will take a block underneath. A little more advanced, you bring your hands underneath. So it's like you're not going to do this if you're not very high in bridge or if it creates too much pressure on your wrists. breathing it. So maybe a few have gone there to what I'm doing. Others might be able to wedge a block in. And wherever you're at, we're going to take another breath. Inhale. Exhale. Now, if you have the block, you could probably stay longer. I mean, that would be fine. Or we're releasing. And once you release, pull knees right into chest, stretching your lower back. And then grabbing hold of your feet, happy baby. I bet you guessed that one. Breathing in. Exhale. And then peace fingers wrapping around your big toes, extending the legs, taking the legs wide, and breathe in. And exhale. And again, breath in. Inner thigh stretch. And then legs straight up into the air. So what I'd like to do is grab a block and grab a strap. Excuse me. It's like I cover my mouth and, I don't want to be really loud on the speaker. Okay, so block. Oh, we're going to make a strap for the legs. Okay, so you're making a loop, not a strap, a loop. And the loop comes to your feet. I don't want to sneeze in the speaker and blow your ears off. Okay, and so you're just bringing about mid shin bones, okay? And you might say, well, great, how are we going to slip the block underneath? But you can. Reach. I am known to sneeze a good 10 times in a row. When I go outside and it's sunny out, I sneeze. And sometimes I sneeze for no reason at all. So there's your legs. So you're trying to bring your legs in a vertical line. And so you have your legs together. I love the strap. It just makes it effortless. And if you're a little tight, your knees are bent. And we're just going to pause here. And breathing. There we go. And then we're going to release. I might have to blow my nose. We'll see. And so bringing your feet down, there you go. I'm going to have you on a task here. You're coming down and you're going to be into windshield wiper. Knees go side, side. I'll spare you and take the mic off. I'll be right back. Okay. There we go. Knees, side, side. Okay. And then from here, we're going to go onto our sides. And as you're on your side, we're going to first take hold. So you could always use a strap, or you take hold of your big toe, and you extend your leg out on Antasana. And as you're here, so the lower leg knee might want to bend. You're trying to extend and stretching the inner thigh. Some of you can go deeper. It means your hand comes to around to the outside heel, and you extend further. Good work. Nice. So it's It's inner thigh, but I think it's also hamstring for sure. Some of you can go deeper. So if you can, you go there. Your lower hand reaches and you extend. So, and breathe. It's not that your head rests on the cradle of your arm, so your neck is relaxed. Okay. We are going to come out, and then we reach for the back foot. So you're reaching your foot, and you're working with your quad. If you're not getting a stretch, for some, this is great. This is a good stretch. You don't want your knee up. You want your thighs running parallel. You could also come onto your belly and press. I get a greater stretch when I come onto my belly because I can really press my pelvis forward. And then coming out. From here, we'll go to the second side. I'll just turn. So you come onto your other side and propping yourself up. I know some get tired, bring the head down if that happens. Wrapping index finger, middle finger around the big toes, or using a strap, that's fine. And your leg comes up. So again, it's kind of hamstring, but also inner thigh. And some can go further, which means you bend your knee, your hand comes inside, ankle, heel, and around to the outside heel. And some go a little further, so your hand reaches, and draw your arm, and reach. One more breath, wherever you're at. Inhale. Exhale, you're going to come down, 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 and then bend your knee and reach for your ankle. So that might be better for you, and some are okay coming onto the belly, pressing heel to buttock, and pressing your hip down into the mat. Okay, and we come out. That's good. We're coming all the way up now. And as we come up, we'll come to child's pose. Let's have maybe a blanket for your knees. And take 2 rounds of breath. Let's just say maybe there'll be like 2 or 3 rounds of breath per movement, something like that. And I'm thinking kind of slow rounds of breath. You settle into the pose, then you start focusing on this breathing. Hands are spread wide, and we're going to come back to downward facing dog. And you could pedal, and then once you kind of settle into the pose, start your deep rounds of breathing, 3 of them. And then from here, we'll come to upward facing dog. It's fine to have your knees down if you like. Toes extended. If you prefer to do a plank instead, if you don't want to arch so much, you can do that. And breathe. Good. Keeping your pelvis up in the air, walk your hands forward. Forehead touches down, and breathe. And then from here, retracting the arms, And we'll come to threading the needle. So your hand threads underneath, shoulders down, pelvis up into the air, and your hand is kind of helping to guide you as you turn, and you're looking up towards the ceiling. And breathe. And then pressing up, and other side. Hand slides underneath, pelvis up into the air, stretching between shoulder blades. And releasing. Good. So we'll take one leg up into the air. You have three-legged dog. You're coming up and you're taking your right leg up into the air. Bend the knee, send the knee up high. Turn your head so you're not looking over the arm but beneath the arm. And then look at your right hand, and you're going to bring your right foot to the outside right hand. And we've got a hip stretch. So some are up high. Maybe you can come down. It's okay to take your knee down also. And maybe leaning onto your elbows. You can use a block as you lower and breathe. And then we'll start to release, and we'll go the other way. So right foot steps back, taking a moment here to stretch through the legs. Left leg comes up. We're going to go ahead and bend your knee. Send your knee up to the sky. Maybe you can lower your right heel, get a good calf stretch. And then looking at your left hand, and the foot comes to the outside left hand. Pause for a moment with your legs straight, and then the knee comes down. And if you can, you might want to come onto your elbows and breathe. So the way I'm working today, just, it's interesting to kind of share it. I'm holding back on some of the stretches. I'm using props on purpose. So I want to see how do I work differently with props. I can go just as deeply, but in a different way. I mean, let's say I can go deep, but just simply a different way. And I like it. It's very interesting for me to work this way. I don't always use a block on this, but I like it. All right. And then we're going to come back again, downward facing dog, and press. So let's bring the knees down and go wide with your knees, and we're coming to frog, really wide, big toes touching. And once again, you could be on your elbows or lowering your head, and breathe. We're going to move the block out of the way and curl your toes under, bring your knees closer together. We're going to be putting some pressure on the feet, so it's a foot stretch. So it might be that you can't, and you have your kneeling and just stretching that way. Some take a block under the thighs. That helps if you don't like compression. So what I'm doing is I'm really pushing my foot back, so I really get that opening. and breathe. Interlace fingers if you can. Some have to hold, and some have the arms up in the air. Nice. Okay, clasp hands, squeeze shoulder blades together. And here, the blocks might help you. They would be on either side of you. They could be up on high end. You can push into them and slowly come to a forward fold. So the blanket will kind of be in the way, so I'll move it again. Have your blocks, they could be forward of you, forward of your legs, and lower your head, stretch into your back. Press into the blocks, lengthen out your spine, look forward. Try to draw your belly in. Fold again, look at your knees or your shin bones. Move the feet, move the blocks out of the way. And then hands behind the back, clasp your hands. Straighten your arms, take your arms away from your back. Bend the knees, come on up. And when you come up, look ahead of you and look upward. And then bend again. Straightening the legs, breathe, bend the knees, come on up again. And I'm still facing this way, but I'll just face the screen. You're going to take hold of your right wrist, side bend. Deep breath in, and stretch, and the other way. Grabbing hold, and stretch. Breath in, exhale. Looks like a nice day, sun streaming in the windows. Okay, and then coming to a forward fold. So you're at the back end of your mat, and you're going to what I call swim it out. Swim it out. Okay, and once you swim it out, notice the feet. You could be on the ball of the foot, or you could, from plank, you can really come towards the front of your toes, so you're really working at holding yourself up. You could separate the feet a little more. And let's see, can you take your right hand slowly to your left shoulder, and right hand down without shifting too much. I know I'm shifting. Left hand, right shoulder, and down. Side plank. You can have your knee down, as doesn't matter, you can go left or right, we'll do both sides. You can have a knee down or legs extended or feet stacked, and breathe. Spread your hand wide. And the other side, you can have your knee down or simply go into extended and balance. Breathing in. Exhale. And lower. We're going to lower Chaturanga Dandasana all the way onto the belly. Elbows bend straight back, lower slowly. And then once you extend your legs, hover, like have your hands hovering above the mat. Strengthen your back. And now clasp your hands behind your back. Squeeze shoulder blades, lift a little higher. A lot of this is strength. And then turn your head towards the right. Now, keep your right hip down as you turn your head towards the right. Lift and let your arms swing to the left. So I don't want your hip up. I want to keep your hip down. Maybe you can look back and even see your foot back there. You never know. Lift, look forward if you can. If you don't get very high, you're looking down. And look to the left. Let your arms swing to the right. Breathing in. Exhale, and back to center, and lower. Let your forehead rest. Deep breath in, and exhale. Bend your knees, go wide with your knees. Aha, remember, we're on a pilgrimage here. You're heading out, you're going to some, what you would consider maybe some sacred sites. And all this, you're gonna just think of a pilgrimage. You're on a pilgrimage. It's your yoga journey. And, we're practicing self-compassion. We're practicing all these things on a personal realm, right? And then they flow outward. You got to practice it with yourself first. Before you can show compassion to another, you've got to be compassionate with yourself. Reaching. And then legs come together. And let's go ahead and take your right leg up in the air. You can keep your hands just as they are, like under your forehead. And swing your right leg back. Swing back, back, back. Bend your knee, tap the floor, knee pointing up. And the other side. Left leg comes up, 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 across. Bend the knee pointing up, and toe tapping the floor. And back to center. Pressing up. And all the way back. Stretch out your spine. Curling toes under. If you want your blocks handy, you can have them handy, or simply pressing your hands right into the mat. Press back. And there you are in a forward bend. This time we're going to separate the feet. You're at the back end of your mat, and you're going to come to a squat, or modify if necessary. And lengthen the spine and breathe. Yeah, so today's also International Day of Dance. So I was almost going to do a whole class around that, but then I was, after talking to my friend Arvind and just been reading so much about what's going on in India, and this recent surge, and, it's like, enough already, enough already. We're all, I think a lot of people are letting down their guard and not yet vaccinated, for example. Not a good idea. And, just thinking about that, I saw it firsthand. I know it. And, up close. And so it's just, I feel a lot. We feel a lot from what we see happening. A lot of suffering. We're going to come into a forward fold, and here we are. Reaching. Now you're going to take your hands onto your back. So in honor of, I changed the dedication, but yes, of course, we'll still look at dancer's pose. That has to be in there today. All right. So I'm just going to adjust the camera. We're going to go near a wall, or, maybe you have a wall, or you've got a sofa, countertop, a chair to hang on to. And your dancer's pose could be as simple as, like, you could have a strap, you could have your foot in your hand, maybe heel towards buttock, you're upright. And some can kick back. I'm a little close to the wall. So I'm going to reach, and I'm kicking the leg straight back. So to go there, quads have to be open, even the standing legs. Hamstring has to be open, and since I'm using a wall, I don't even have to really balance. We'll do a second one. You could use the wall second time around, or you can just be in the middle of the mat, okay? So this is the first side, the first round, and come out, and just pause, and then you have the second side. So holding your foot, heel towards buttock, right hand reaching, kick the leg, extend your arm, really kick your leg back, and breathe. And release. Whoa. Well, you know what? I know you're going to just love this. Probably one of the first things we'll do in one of our classes when we're all back at SAC is I want to do intense quad stretch at the wall. I do it, but I know not everybody has the space, so aren't you lucky? You haven't been doing it. Maybe you've been doing it on your own. All righty, so you could still be at the wall, or you reach hand to foot. Now, you know there's a way in which both hands can reach for the foot. That's another kind of dancer's pose, both hands reaching, or just one. And you could also use a strap, and your left hand is forward, thumb to index finger, and you're reaching, finding the drishti point. I looked at the screen, and I started losing my balance. Breathing in, exhale. Breathing in, and exhale. And then we're going to draw the knee to chest. Draw the knee to chest. And come on out. Second side. So again, you can always stay more upright. That's fine. Holding on to something is fine. And if you can, you're in the middle of the room. And reach. Deep breath in and exhale. And release, draw the knee to chest. Good job. Okay. So again, if you still want to hang on to something, you may. You're going to cross over ankle to thigh. My standing knee is not wobbling, it's trying to stay steady, and you come down, and you're just going to flex your ankle, maybe you lean, or you can have hands to heart, and come up. Second side, cross, bending the knee. My knee is pointing forward, and I'm dropping down, getting into the outer hip, and coming up. We'll do each side one more time, because it's not one that you hold real long, right? Coming down. Now, what could be different, I'll tell you, you might have your blocks, because some of you can actually reach down and reach your blocks. Right leg up, you're coming forward, and maybe you can reach for your blocks. And when you reach for your blocks, that's a good one. That's a good stretch, okay? You're in charge, and you're in charge, like how far will you go? Good. Breathing in. Exhale, flex your right ankle, and then push, come up. Second side, ankle crosses over, flex, reach for the blocks. Sometimes you wish you had more blocks, right? And breathing in, exhale. And then press and come on out. Good. All right, so blocks can move out of the way. All right, so we'll look at, I'm kind of looking at poses and then the twist related to the pose, okay? So let's go to extended side angle and reach your arm up. You could take your hand down perhaps, and I don't want you looking down, but looking to the screen or looking ahead of you, and the top arm is up over ear. And breathe. Deep breath in, exhale. Release, come up. We'll do side one, side two, and then you'll see the twist version of it. So, other foot turning. Bend the knee, come over, reach the arm up over ear, and maybe reaching down, stretching. And press on up. All right. And then we come to that first side. So what happens here is you're now before you were on a single track. Now I have to shift my foot because I want to be on a double track. And you could always have a block. You could do prayer balance if you like, but this is the corresponding twist, okay? So prayer balance or simply coming to a twist and breathe. Exhale. And release, and then we're going to come across the other way. I'm taking the block with me. And so again, I told you I was kind of working differently. It looks like maybe I'm doing things more easily, but I'm actually accessing new places, so I'm happy with this. So I'm shifting my right foot more to the right, left hand maybe on a block. Turn towards your bent knee. It's the opposite of extended side angle. And breathe. And release. And come on out. Good. We'll stand in mountain. Hands are to heart center. And deep breath in. Exhale. All right. So we have triangle. And that leads to a revolved triangle, right? So let's go to triangle. You go wide. Big difference. You're not as wide as you were in the first pose, and your knees are straightened. So extending. Breathe in. Shift, move from your pelvis. Your pelvis is shifting, right? And then the arms come to the long line, to the vertical. And breathe. Come on up. And let's just drop down into a horse, be upright. You could take thumbs to index fingers, extending the arms. You can also do like a 90-degree with the arms. And breathe. Exhale. And push heels into the mat. And then we adjust for the second side. Extending. Shift, bringing your hand down, arm up, and breathe. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Come on out. Okay. So we're going to walk to, what one side, the front of the mat, I guess would say, and it's a revolved triangle. So normally what I would do, just the way I started my left, I went to my right. Normally I would twist towards my left. I'm going to do that. I'm just shifting on the mat. It doesn't really matter which side you twist to first because we'll do both sides. So one leg is forward and it starts out, remember it's like pyramid, so your pelvis is squared. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to I have my right hand, my left leg is forward, my right hand is holding the block, if you're going to use a block. In my right arm, I have a block in my hand, I'm off screen. The right arm is up in the air. And I'm starting to twist already. You could bend your knee if you need to. I'm going to decide, do I want my block on the inside foot? Do I want it on the outside foot? I'm going to go on the inside. And do I want it at a different height? That's fine. And once there, back heel is down. Lengthen the spine. Do all the the preparation and then come into the pose and breathe. Nice. Come on out. And then when the great counter pose is a squat, if you want to sit on your block, you may. Make sure it's where you need it to be. Lengthen the spine, breathing in. Exhale. One more breath in. And exhale. And then you start to make your way up. Take your block with you if you're like me going back and forth. And now for me it's my right leg forward, left foot back. The left arm comes up into the air. I'm holding the block. Reach up. Come down. And you're already starting to twist. You're going to make all those decisions. Where will your hand be? How high will the block be? And then anchor down your back heel. If you can, straighten your right leg. You don't want to lock it out, but you're straightening and you're twisting. And eventually taking the arm up. Good. Breathing in. Exhale. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Unwind and press forward and taking your hands to your heart center. Let's come to our little squat. I know you're waiting for it. You can sit on your block again or just come right down into your squat. And then press on up. So the last of these, of this little sequence, really the third one, right, is half moon and revolved half moon. Revolved half moon isn't easy. So you'll see how we'll work it. We're going to go directly from half moon, and then what you might find is that you stay in warrior 3 with your hands down, or you add the twist. So you'll just see. Have a block handy, though. I think you'll want the block at least for the second part of it. And we're just going to go straight into it. So you're here, extending, about to take off. But before you take off, you need to be grounded. You need to be clear. You need to be present. It's like a body scan. And then you bend the knee. You reach for your block. You bring it with you, so it ends up being directly under wrist, which is directly under your shoulder. The back leg is up and your arm up. So I don't always use the block, but I am today. And usually the block doesn't feel so steady for me, but it's good today. Breathing in. Exhale. Now, I know some of you can reach. We did dancers earlier. Maybe you're like, I'm going to reach my foot and kick your leg back and arch. And then I bend my knee in transition. I'm going to look down. And maybe you're like, I need 2 blocks. Yeah. So, and that might be it. So now I'm starting to straighten the leg again, and I have my hips squared. I'm looking right at the floor. Pelvis is level. And maybe that's it. Or maybe you're like, I'll twist. Left hand would be on your low back, and you're turning your head to the left. And it's up to you. Arm up in the air. There is a fancy little move where you take your left hand to your right foot, wherever it is. Okay. And you kick the leg. You're going to release. Step your right foot back. We'll worry about the blocks later. Wide and come to a forward fold. Let your hands slide down your legs. That's not easy, so I want you to, just kind of seeing what you're able to do, exploring with happiness, exploring with one of my favorite words, exploring with alacrity, breathing. Inhale, exhale, and then come on up. Heels, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes. Hands to heart center. And here we go. Other side. So I know now I want those blocks handy. I want both of them handy. Okay, so we're coming to our half moon. Set it up. It's fine if you're at a wall, right? You're going to find a way to come out and then do the other pose if you're at a wall. Yeah. And you start to bend your knee. And you're reaching for your block and shifting. Find your drishti point, your center. Breathe. You're kind of a celestial sphere, but to the human eye, they only see half of you. The other half in darkness. Now the arms coming down. You're going to square your pelvis. If you're using your blocks, you've got them, right? And so these could be done with a chair too, like hanging on a chair, right? Or no props, right? So here you are, and you might say, okay, I'm ready. Then in this case, right hand on low back. You're starting to turn, not just your head, but your torso, keeping your pelvis squared. And maybe that's it for you. Or you extend your right arm, and you breathe. Some can reach right hand, left foot. It's a little more advanced. And you kick the leg and you breathe. And then you release. You could leave the blocks right where they're at. You're going to come up through center. That's a lot, I know. And let's come to a forward bend. Any way you like. Here, I'll be like this. What I'm thinking of is with all those twists, I just want to unwind. I'm going to walk my hands forward, shake up my head, send the sitting bones back, and breathe. You're going to want to drink some water after class with all the twisties. All right. Hands onto the low back. Come on up. And bring your feet all the way together. Stand for a moment in mountain. Just standing in mountain. Breathe. Exhale. One more. Breathe in. Exhale. So we worked slowly. We worked deeply. That's what I wanted. I wanted you on your own little pilgrimage here. And I think we're there. We're doing it. We're on the pilgrimage. And the people that I've seen in India on pilgrimage, the sadhus, sometimes it's families on pilgrimage, they're so happy. It's such a joy. And there are people who come from far to see a certain temple or a certain waterfall, headwaters of the Ganges. And it's like, there's some hardships on the journey. I mean, the pilgrimage should have some hardships, right? Because you don't, it shouldn't have to be like this easy thing. And so sometimes they'll fast, pull knees into chest, and it's amazing how joyful a journey it is. As arduous as it is, it's also joyful, joy-filled. Let's go ahead and it's like our yoga practice. It's not all easy, but you probably wouldn't even tune in if you could do all these perfectly. Soles of the feet together, outside feet resting, hands are to the belly, and breathe. Inhale, and exhale. Interlace fingers, press palms up, and then reach the arms up overhead. Supta Baddha Konasta. Stretching your belly, stretching the front of your body, stretching your shoulders. Releasing. Let's have the feet wide and do our windshield wiper movement. So going back and forth. Your arms could be out at a T position. T position, so when your knees go left, your head turns right. Knees go right, head turns left. Back and forth. And then from here, so you could do floating bridge. That might be easier for you. Floating bridge is very, you've worked plenty hard, right? So you might say, oh yeah, I'm going to come into floating bridge, be the floating bridge. Your knees could be bent if you like. Or the block will come under your upper back, okay? So and you might need something to support your head as well. So that would be for my head. Another block, the first block I come in contact with is for my back. The second block for my head. And wherever you're at, we'll just take a few rounds of breath. See if you can let go. Receive gravity's pull, because it's working for you right now. It's helping to pull the shoulders back. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and bend the knees, roll to one side, remove your blocks. Just take the one block under your head, the neck stretch. And so basically it's on its second height. Your knees are bent, and feet are on the mat. And then you can take your hands to the sides of the block, and what you're going to do is tilt your block back, catching, the side of the block catches the occipital ridge. The chin comes down, and then from there, hands, palms are facing up. And breathe. We're going to remove the block and come right to Shavasana. Okay, so here's where, again, some of you have a wonderful bolster. And I just want you to be really comfortable. So if you have the bolster, might as well use it. It's that little luxury, isn't it? And you can just have your knees on it, on it. Your legs are on it, and however you want to be with your hands, and just take a moment, wiggle around a little bit, find the perfect spot to be, and then settle onto your mat. Settle onto your mat. As you are in Shavasana, I want you to do the body scan. Allow your entire body to relax. So, we go on these pilgrimages, and when and if you do, and it could be like it could be a long backpacking trip for that matter, you always come home, right? You go out on the pilgrimage, that's the yoga session, and then you come home. That could be Shavasana. I could look at my time in Chicago as a pilgrimage. Amazing experience, and then you come back home. And what do you take with you? What do you glean from your spiritual journey? You have an experience. You've been to see something, someone. And Shavasana is, in a sense, coming home. Coming home and you completely abandon yourself to this moment, to this beautiful stillness within. And maybe you observe that somehow you are different from 1 hour ago, or from 4 or 5 months ago, from a year ago. And then just so slowly begin to deepen the breathing. And move your hands, move your feet, and make your way to sitting.